Is Emanuel Stewart the greatest trainer of all time? Maybe the answer is not in the trophies, but in the transformation. He took fighters with gifts and gave them identity. He saw the matrix before the punch landed. His genius was timing, psychology, creativity, and the science of boxing. Stewart did not just train champions, he opened the door. So let's talk about Thomas Hearns. Thomas Hearns was already special. But under Emanuel Stewart, special became terrifying. Hearns had the long jab, the straight right, the frame, the speed and the hunger. But Stewart gave him power, identity and confidence. That is why Roberto Duran, one of the toughest men ever, was knocked out in 2 rounds. Stewart turned Tommy into the hitman. Think of this, every man is mortal, therefore every man can be beaten. The Evander Holyfield story. In one of the greatest heavyweight fights of all time, Evander Holyfield lost to Riddick Bowe. People doubted him. They said he was too small, too brave, too easy to hit. Then Evander Holyfield switched trainers to Emanuel Stewart. In the rematch, Holyfield used movement, combinations, physicality, and the jab. He regained the championship in an upset, and Stewart was a vital piece of the puzzle. Think of this, sometimes greatness only needs the right voice in the corner. Lennox Lewis. When Lennox Lewis came to Stewart, he had lost the championship. He was feared, fast, explosive, and dangerous, but he still had technical flaws. He did not jab enough. He sometimes lost focus. He needed more punch creativity. Stewart gave him elite seasoning. Against Holyfield, the feints, the tactical holding, the short right hands, the left right hand counter, and the ring IQ changed everything. Then came Michael Grant, then David Tua. The domination started. Think of this, a giant without discipline is only a target. And I think it's important to realize that Stewart did not create Lennox Lewis, but he rebirthed him. There is a difference. He took a heavyweight with natural gifts and taught him how to behave like a king. Not emotional, not reckless, not chasing chaos. Lennox Lewis learned distance, patience, timing and control. Stewart taught him how to punish mistakes without becoming available for counters. That was the secret system. Think of this, the best punch is not always the hardest punch, it is the smartest punch. So what made Emanuel Stewart so good? I think what made him good was not one thing, it was the science of boxing mixed with psychology. I mean, he understood fear, he understood confidence, he understood how a fighter thinks when the lights get hot. Figuratively speaking, he was technical but never robotic. He allowed creativity, but he gave the creativity structure. Stewart could see what a fighter was, then show him what he could become. Think of this. A trainer does not build the body first, he builds the belief. Creating environments. To me, great trainers create great boxing environments. And the Kronk was not just a gym, it was pressure, it was heat, it was noise, it was survival. Iron sharpened iron every day. You did not become soft in that room, in that environment. You either grew or you simply disappeared. Stewart created a world where champions were normal, so becoming one felt possible. That environment opened the door to greatness. Think of this, if the room is weak, the fighter becomes weak. The Wladimir Klitschko chapter. Now, Vladimir Klitschko had size, he had power, and he had intelligence, but after knockout losses, his confidence was questioned. Stewart rebuilt him with patience, the jab, the distance, the clinching, the balance, and the discipline. He turned danger into control. Vladimir became a master of making opponents feel trapped before they even punched. It was not always exciting, but it was effective. That is the genius. Think of this, boxing is not always about pleasing the crowd, it is about controlling the consequences. The Stewart Code. Now the Stewart Code was simple but deep. First, establish the jab. Second, control the distance. Third, make the opponent reset. Fourth, punish him when he reaches. Fifth, never fight his fight. That is the matrix that Stewart saw. Every fighter had a door, and Stewart knew how to open that door. He taught champions to think before they destroyed. Think of this, the mind lands the punch before the fist ever moves. So is he the greatest? So is Emanuel Stewart the greatest trainer of all time? Eddie Futch, Custom Marta, Angelo Dundee, Freddie Roach, and others belong in that argument. But Stewart's case is different. He built champions from the ground up, repaired broken champions, and extended careers at the highest level, from Hearns to Holyfield, Lewis to Vladimir. The pattern is undeniable. Think of this. It's not what you do once, it is what you keep doing through different men, different eras, and different storms. So I just wanted to say a few things here. And the first question that I had was, why was Stewart a great trainer? And, you think of the comment, what creates a great trainer? Is it great tactics? Is it arranging great sparring? Is it arranging a team? And I think within the Stewart context, what made him a great trainer is that he created great boxing environments, or he created a great boxing environment for his fighters to thrive. So he was able to not only develop their technique, but also to develop their confidence. And I think he was just really good at that. And I think he understood that. He understood that premise. He understood that it's not just about the tactical element, it's about building the environment to harness the mind. And then I thought about the question about, what did he do in the Evander Holyfield Riddick Bowe rematch? Why was he so good? And again, it goes back to harnessing that great environment, talking to boxers on their level, the way that nurturing relationship that he built with Evander Holyfield. Also, he got Evander doing different things. I remember Evander threw a left hook, double straight right. I've never seen him throw that combination before. So he just added, just little small variations, really good foot movement, really good feints. And obviously Evander was already a champion, was a former champion, so he already had a lot of seasoning, but he brought a different flavor, and he prepared Evander Holyfield to deal with the physicality of the fight and to make adjustments, and those adjustments were essential because, Riddick Bowe came out very aggressive that fight, and Evander made those adjustments. His feet was really good in that fight. The feet, the counter, right hands. He was able to fight on the outside, but also successfully in the pocket. So he was able to nurture that environment. And then I was thinking again, what was his influence with regards to Lennox Lewis? And remember, Lennox Lewis I think he was stopped by Oliver McCall in the second round when he came to Emanuel Stewart. Now, of course, Lennox Lewis was a tremendous talent. He was avoided in the heavyweight division. He was a tremendous talent. But he was raw when he came to Stewart, and Stewart nurtured him. And when Lennox Lewis fought Evander Holyfield, there was a technical issue there in terms of Evander Holyfield brought a lot of seasoning, he brought a lot of experience, and he was able to really master big occasions. And I think Stewart was really essential in terms of Lewis using the jab effectively, using the feints effectively, being effective with the footwork, not falling for traps, and even small things like punching at the target to take away the counter punch window opportunities, and also having a really good counter for the left hook, which was illustrated, I believe, in round 5. So he really prepared Lennox Lewis for those fights, and he was essential. And what he did as well is that he got Lewis to shorten up his punches so he could throw them big, but sometimes he could shorten them up. So again, he's harnessing not just the right boxing environment, but also giving him that seasoning, that technical boxing IQ. And I think Stewart would naturally give you that boxing IQ. He doesn't strike me as someone who would overcomplicate things. He would give you the instruction and allow it to grow organically in you. And he did an amazing job with Lennox Lewis. Does Lennox Lewis become undisputed heavyweight champion without Emanuel Stewart? I don't know. Like I said, Lewis was a phenomenal talent. But Stewart enabled him to go to the other level. And definitely, and I think Lennox Lewis gives a lot of credit to Emanuel Stewart. They had an amazing partnership. And Lennox Lewis is a very tactical mind, a great champion. And then the next question would be, how did he improve Wladimir Klitschko? Now, Wladimir Klitschko, again, was a technical fighter, very powerful, genetically just incredible, had loads of talent, but he had punch resistance issues, to put it politely. And I think what he did, I think Klitschko had some confidence issues, as anyone would when they suffer knockout defeats. but he was able to harness that environment, able to give him that strategy, and he was able to give him a style that reduced mistakes. So the mistakes he would make by being overly offensive, they corrected those mistakes. So it became very hard to hit Klitschko. It became very hard to get Klitschko, to fight Klitschko in the pocket. So he developed or redeveloped his identity. And that's why Emanuel Stewart is a great trainer, and arguably one of, or if not, the greatest trainer of all time. He was a trainer of just such an elite standard, building champions. You got the Tommy Hearns example, but then taking champions that have lost their title and then building them back into becoming undisputed champions, and then taking great talent like Vladimir Klitschko, who suffers knockout losses or a knockout loss or a few losses, and then taking that person and then developing them or nurturing an environment, giving them the technical seasoning to enable them to be a dominant champion, I believe, for over 9 years. And that is truly remarkable. So that's the end of the video. Now I'm trying to build a digital boxing community. What does that mean? It means I'm interested in your comments, I'm interested in your questions, and I'm interested in your observations. Now, if you want to support the channel, all you have to do is simply like and subscribe. And if you want to watch more content like this, then simply click here or click here. As always, thanks for your time. It is much, much appreciated.